So it's Monday, it's 5 o'clock, and it's toonTALK, the weekly podcast from Magpie 24/7. We still, of course, are. You might be able to see by the rather sort of sun glow about myself. It is still in the middle of summer, so it is still on the every other week with Ian, your regular host, joined by a guest. He'll be back next week to talk about all things Newcastle United and possibly England as world champions, no less. We'll see how that one goes. Obviously, the game this week against Argentina in the semi-final. I'm sure FIFA will find a way to shag us over and we'll be in that wooden spoon match on Saturday. But look, Ian may well be talking about a World Cup win for England on next Monday, so please do tune in. Me, on the other hand, I haven't got that to be able to talk about. But yeah, over the rest of the summer, every other week, I'll be filling in for Ian as soon as the action comes back around. And yes, 6 weeks yesterday is the time that we've got left to go before the Liverpool game. It's not too much longer. What? Another couple of episodes from yours truly, and we'll be back to the action, back to the normal toonTALK, and back to talking about the actual football. No transfers, not like that. Talking about actual football, actual results, and actual things that are happening on an actual pitch that hopefully, not actually, we will be laying, because they are behind actually on relaying the pitch at St James's Park. So fingers crossed, we do actually have some grass to be able to play on when we take on Liverpool in what now, just under 6 weeks time. But we'll start with the England game, because why not? Yeah, I mean, what's sleep? Sleep's for wimps. Yes, it is. Yes, England getting by, Dan Burns England, shall we say, getting by Norway. In the end, eventually 2-1. Yours truly actually predicted that score on Finalysis before a ball was kicked, so quite happy with that one. I thought it would be edgy. I thought it would be nervy. I thought the conditions would also affect the game, and I don't think I was wrong, to be honest. I didn't see them taking the lead, I must admit. Did you? I was shocked, but there again, I shouldn't have been shocked, because, you know, if Jordan Pickford had regular sized arms, that fucking wouldn't have gone in, would it not? And it might have come out as I thought. I thought we'd score, they'd equalise, we'd get the winner, do it in 90. Happy days. It wasn't that easy. It wasn't great on the eye. It was fantastic seeing Dan Burn come on in the second half and just literally throw himself around there and make his mark on the game and use these minutes that he had quite wisely. Whilst we're summing up England, because again, why not? It is a World Cup summer and all. Yeah, we definitely went through the motions. I think, look, England are blessed that we've got one or two, and I mean one or two world-class players. And apart from that, we've got some other good players. I think in some other areas of the squad we are struggling. But I thought defensively we looked the best that we'd looked all tournament, to be honest. We looked quite assured. Yes, there was one or two little small moments, but you're going to get that up against the likes of Haaland, born in Leeds. But by and large, we handled it quite well. Pickford, for me, should do a lot better. And I have been critical of him. My scores on Finalysis for him have been really, really low. Yes, he makes the odd mistake, but then he goes and does something erratic. He goes walk about like some sort of mad aborigine, Markham. And I think he's always there. There's always a rick about him. He's got that in him. He doesn't have regular sized arms, which doesn't help. Yes, he makes one or two decent saves, but then he lets a goal in that he shouldn't do. So that sort of takes it away from that, if I'm being honest. And yeah, I wasn't impressed again by Pickford. A lot of people think he's great for England, this, that and the other. I honestly think if Trafford does come to Newcastle or wherever he ends up next, if he has a good time of things, he can seriously push Jordan Pickford. Now, I'm not taking anything away from the Mackin bastard. 100 caps now for his country. I will never take him because of where he's from and his allegiances. I am just like that. Look, if I'm supporting England, I am sort of looking at it and sort of like squinting when he's there or slightly looking away from the screen. I cannot support the man. He's too Sunderland for me. The whole thing that happened with Jordan Henderson was quite funny, to be honest. I know you shouldn't probably laugh at somebody else breaking the arm, but when it's misfortune and misfortune on anybody from Sunderland, it's that rivalry that's ingrained into my DNA. I cannot help it, but trying to be as sort of like mad Newcastle supporter as possible. I just honestly don't think Pickford's been all that this tournament, if I'm being honest. He has been great for England in games, but not during this tournament for me. And I just think if Trafford gets a run of games, he may well be the one to displace Pickford and drop him down the old pecking order. So let me know what you think about that one down below. I'll stand by it. But I thought defensively England looked better, apart from the odd moments, as I touched upon before, trying not to damage the mic. There. Midfield, again, Declan Rice, not fantastic. We weren't getting crosses in, especially the first half. He knew he had to make changes in the second half. Look, we were lucky to go in level in this game, but he did make changes, and that's what I do like about Thomas Tuchel. Look, I'm not 100% okay with a German manager of an England World Cup team, and that's nothing else to do with apart from the fact that if the players are all from England, I do think that the manager should also be from the country as well. That's just me. Again, I'm a traditionalist. I like that. I get, look, the people will say, look, Portugal have got a Belgian coach. You've got Ancelotti, who's managing Brazil, etc. I get it. I totally understand it. And you've got to fight fire with wire. Fire with wire. Fire with fire. I get that one. But to me, as a traditionalist, the national team should be made up with only people from that country, ideally. In saying that, you do see the difference from a Thomas Tuchel to a Gareth Southgate with proactive, bold changes, very vocal from the side, very expressive, very just an emotional guy on the side. I do like that. I wasn't particularly overly impressed with Gareth Southgate and his snazzy waistcoats, this, that and the other. I don't think that managing at Middlesbrough and the likes qualifies you to be England manager. No, I think it should be a reward at the end of a career that's been spent in the game. But again, we're going on a different tangent there. I do feel that Thomas Tuchel is giving us an extra dimension, an extra factor, an extra bit of star power, you know. I think we have benefited off that, and this is a game that it could have gone either way. It could have gone to Norway, it could have gone to us, but we made some good changes. The second half, I think we stepped it up a level, and as soon as we got that equaliser just before half-time, I was pretty confident that we would see it through, even when it goes to, to extra time. I'm still like, look, our quality should eventually show. We've got those two arguable world-class players in Bellingham and Kane. Kane undisputed for me. I know, again, Bellingham had the better game against Norway, but Kane is unbelievable. He is world-class. He is one of the top strikers in the world. He creates space, he creates opportunities. He did score, but had a goal ruled out, of course. But it was Bellingham today. 6 goals at the World Cup. That's 2 players on 6 goals, because Kane is also on 6 goals. And we did enough. We got there in the end. There's players carrying injuries. Rice goes off. We had Saka. It was just a substitute because, again, he's managing his minutes, managing a condition, etc. And look, got the second goal. I did celebrate it quite wildly, to be honest, because this is something that, as an England supporter, as a Newcastle United fan, you don't get to see too much success. You've got to enjoy it whilst it's there, and hopefully we see it through against Argentina. Argentina aren't the best Argentina ever. They've got Messi. He is an absolutely, football genius and all that, asterisk that. But I still fancy England, if we play to our best, to give them a game and potentially to beat them. And it is funny that I think this is the first World Cup, possibly, well, certainly in a long time, but maybe ever, where the top 4 seeds from the FIFA seedings are through to the semi-finals. So make of that what you will. England deserve to be there. They have been one of the better teams over the last couple of years, and in this tournament, once again, stepping it up. Would it be funny seeing Trump hand the trophy over to England? Yeah, it would be. The Spanish, yes. The Frenchies had nothing but awful things to say about them. And the Argentinians, I don't know really what their relationship is. So, yeah, either which way, I think Trump expected the USA to be in the final or something like that. Was never going to happen. Was never going to happen. They got found out in the end. No doubt about that. But look, hopefully it's England. We can do the business Wednesday, 8 o'clock against Argentina, and then through to the World Cup final on Sunday. You don't want to be in the wooden spoon game. I mean, why they play that game, I just don't bloody know, to be honest. It's loser v loser. Why would you want to be in that game? Oh, to finish third, because of all that prestige that comes with finishing third, when it's a, you win or you lose type job across the tournament. The tournament might be expanded as well. Have you read about that recently? God, another 20 odd teams. You might as well just skip qualification and just have it all done. This tournament feels like it's gone on forever, and they're on about having a longer tournament next time out. Madness, but that is the bloke that is at the top. He is batshit fucking crazy. Hopefully he gets kicked out of a job. He's as literally crooked as proper shock on that bloke. Like, it really is. The camera pans to him like he's some sort of man of the people. He's a prick. He's an absolute prick. Probably a rich prick who makes deals and, certain agreements and stuff, but still, yeah, that whole thing with the red card just proves to me again what a slimy piece of shit he truly, truly is. Anyway, so World Cup. Hopefully Ian is talking about England as world champions. If they are, I'll make a cameo. Here you go. Let's probably put the kibosh on it. He's saying that. But again, it's nothing that we've all seen in our lifetime. So if we can get through to a final, if we can win and take that next step, then fantastic. And if we don't, will Tuchel still be in charge? I don't know. He's certainly not going to the Germany job. Old Turkey Teeth is going there, Jurgen Klopp. So both Malik Chow and Walter Mata as well are going to have a new manager when it comes to the September internationals, because we only just start the Premier League season and we have these international breaks happening again after a World Cup that has gone on for ages. It's gone on for ages, but it hasn't really got going to me, to be honest. Been the odd moments, games I've enjoyed, but no. But yeah, our two German lads are going to have a new manager. Who knows what will happen with England in the summer, win or not win. It's difficult always to predict these things. There's always a big splurge and a big sort of rotation of managers after major tournaments and stuff like that. So I don't expect this one to be any different. But enough of that chitter-chattering and yakking. It's all about Newcastle United. And yeah, it's been pretty quiet, hasn't it? Yeah, now to talk about end of season and what am I talking about? The shit show rumbles on. It does. It rumbles on. It looks like we missed out on another player, does it not? Johan Manzebi. The circus returns to town once more. Before the whole Victor Munoz thing was bad. This time, it looks like we've been taken for a ride by Johan Manzebi. Look, we agreed the fee with Freiburg. That is set in stone. We agreed wages, bonuses, you name it, the package was sorted, reported by multiple journalists, from, the Pasta Eater through to Keith Downey, Sky Sports, everybody and their mother. Lee Ryder was saying it. Everybody was saying, everything has been done. It will be signed off as soon as Switzerland are done in the World Cup. And at that point, Captain Kirk should have been there with the red alert button. I mean, could it be Jean-Luc Picard? I don't know. Maybe a bit more recent. Who knows? But look, finger on the buzzer. Red alert should have been sounding, because if you can smell bullshit, it probably is bullshit. Why do you need to wait till after the World Cup? I don't know. Other deals have got done. Newcastle United taking people at their word again. And yeah, once again being done over. It's like it's Groundhog Day. We've seen this movie before. This summer is turning into a lot like last summer, to be honest. It's like, I know what you did last summer and all of that. I won't try and do any more impressions, I promise you. But we're taking people's word, waiting until they're done, and then being shat on from a great height isn't a good look, really, is it? Not. But that is what has happened, because Aston Villa, they had interest. It was us, Man United and Villa. We'd stolen a march. We'd got the deal done. But Villa have swooped in at the last moment, agreed everything. And the deal looks like it's going to go, here we go, if you will. Keith Downey this morning, literally just putting a slight more flame in the fire, saying, look, the deal has been agreed with them. I do expect him to go there. However, the financial side of things suggests that it's not a case that's sort of ready to be shut down, or this, that and the other, because Aston Villa have to walk, like we had to walk last year, a very careful financial, juggling act, a maze, if you will. So They may have to sell players in order to bring players in. It's absolutely fucking crazy. It really is. But this time it could benefit us. It could leave the door ajar for us to come back in. But look, to me, if you've done the shit on us once, if you've done the dirty on us once, you don't do it again. Look, if your missus or your girlfriend or your fiance, whoever, cheats on you, do you go back and give them a second and third chance? No, you don't. You just say, yeah, insult me once, shame on me. But again, no. So I just think, even if it was now to be a situation where, Aston Villa can't do the financial sides of it at the moment, or they're struggling to get the whole fee or whatever, Newcastle just need to say, look, you had your chance and that's gone. It's off the table now. They need to pivot. The optics of it look shit. I agree. But you've got to go looking for somebody else. Somebody who wants to be there, who will snatch at the chance to be given the opportunity to play at St James's Park. You don't want to be giving people second and third chances. We are better than that as a club. So I'm definitely all for, as painful as it is, and as good as a player I think Manzini would have been for us. I think we all would have felt a lot better with the summer if we'd have got that signing over the line. We haven't. It's a difficult one, but look, we're still, mid-July. If we're at the same point this time next month, struggling to get players through, like last summer, where you're going to the 5th or 6th targets, then there has to be questions asked about the people at the club who are carrying out the transfers, who are doing the due diligence, because part of the due diligence isn't just looking at the player, and it's got to be asking questions. Would he be receptive to a move on Tyneside? Would he jump at the opportunity? And if the answer is even slightly possibly not, look, I know we're after Champions League quality players, and I applaud the club for that, but we need to be realistic at the same time as well, do we not? So yes, continue to try and sign the very best that we can. We are battling against against Champions League clubs. As a former Champions League club, it's difficult to sell that. In the Manzini situation, he's just seen Villa beat Freiburg, his current team, to win a European Cup. They're in the Champions League. He's no attachment or allegiances to us. It's a difficult sell, but I am glad at least we're going after players like Nunes, like Johan Manzini, because the Champions League players who we're trying to bring in now, so that when we get back to the Champions League, touch wood, we've got Champions League players ready, and we're not trying to bring in, I don't know, some player from a Bournemouth or somebody who's just here to build the squad up. And once we get to the Champions League, you're thinking they're not good enough to make that step up. And you're back to the drawing board, and you're back to trying to sell in and buy in and rebuilding again. It's much better to bring these Champions League players in now, so that hopefully this time next year, when we're back in the Champions League, touch bloody wood, we've got the tools already at our disposal to be able to do it, and we're just adding as opposed to selling and rebuilding again. So that's it for me. I'm not panicking at the moment. I am concerned at the way that the summer is going after last summer. But I know it's not a lost cause at the moment. I know there is room to salvage things. I do feel quite relaxed, therefore, about it. But I'm certainly keeping my eye on things. And I think if we're here in a month's time and we haven't signed the quality that we need, I would be worried. We've seen experience leave the door. We've seen players with big money leave the door. What we've now got to see is some quality and some youth and some excitement and a little bit of experience as well coming back through the door. Because even if we sign 4 or 5 players, arguably, squad-wise, we've got the same squad that we had last year, and we should be looking to build it up and balance it out so that we've not got loads in one position but not enough in the other. So my hope is that we get a balanced squad, an exciting squad, a young squad, an energetic squad, something just to sink your teeth into, ready for next season, to get that excitement going, because that excitement is simply not there at the moment. I don't know if it's because the World Cup's going on and England are doing all right. I don't know, but like normally I'd have got the shirt bought and stuff like that before now. I haven't. I probably will do before I go away on holiday myself. Again, normal service review. When I'm on holiday, I'm still on holiday, working away with Magpie 24/7. No days off for 6 years means I've had no days off for 6 years. So I'll continue bringing you everything that I can from all around the place, sourcing it all, of course. But by the time I go away in a month's time, if we haven't got the players signed, I will be concerned, because look, Eddie Howe, like him or don't like him, he'll always have my admiration because of what he's achieved. 2 finals, 2 Champions League, 1 cup is some going compared to what we had for the previous 14 years, etc. But he's got to be given the tools to be able to do his job. And if the club aren't signing players, that's not part of his remit. That's other people at the club not giving him the tools to do his job. And he asked for the players to be in the building for the beginning of pre-season. Today is the 13th of July. Today, as I'm recording this, I'm seeing the players, Joe Linton and the likes, coming back to the Knacks. I keep saying it in American, even though it's a South African drinks company, but you get my drift. It's not fair. It's not right. And he can't be pleased about it. And that's not pleased about his relation, not pleased about Steve Nixon if he's still knocking about, not pleased with Ross Wilson. And if I was him, I would be going in today to work, and the first thing I would do before I even put my bag on my desk would be to, right, Mr. Wilson, you promised me X, Y, and Z. You've delivered me X. Why have I not got what I've asked for? I need the players in to bed them in so that we don't have another situation where we've got Alanga who's trying to pick it up, on the run, on the hop. So we don't have and Wiss is probably the best example, isn't it? Because he come in really, really late. And he's playing catch-up all season. I need them in at the beginning of pre-season so they're getting used to my methods, my methodology, the way that I want to do things, the fitness levels, etc., etc., etc. The mistake is coming from, not enough finance being brought in. That's David Hopkinson's job. You come in as Billy fucking Big Bollocks walking in, I've got financial clout, I've done this at Real Madrid, I've done this at Madison Square Garden. I don't give a shit. What have you done for us? So we've signed a deal for less money in the first year to replace front of shirt. Well done there. Hey God, we've got a sponsor for the training ground. Well, the sponsor for the training ground and the front of shirt for the first year doesn't equal what Silla were paying per year. It's madness, it's bonkers, it's not enough, it's not good enough. You're the one going around raising expectations with fans, 2030, challenging for trophies. Things can turn around really, really quickly. Now, Eddie Howe, I've been saying, I'm the one who's got to face this all the time because you're going around flapping your gums, chatting pure shit. Sort yourself out, get the money sorted in, get some extra sponsors for training gear, get some sponsors for St James's Park. Do what you need to do. We haven't even got the new sponsor for the Stack. These are simple things. We started off the year with a shirt with no bloody sponsor on. It just comes across as amateuration, not good enough. They paid the big bucks, they're talking a big game. Actions speak louder than words, David Hopkinson, so get something done about that. And whilst you're on, maybe talk to the fans. That would be something. But talk to the fans about the cold, harsh reality, the facts, not the bullshit. We know he's full of that. He's absolutely full of it. I'm not convinced. I really am not convinced about the man, to be honest. The TalkSport interview just tipped me over the edge when he's talking about 2030. We're a million miles off even regularly competing for European football. We can't qualify for Europe, get into Europe, do well in Europe, and do well domestically, get back into Europe again. We can't even do that. So I'm not particularly impressed there. Andy Howe, there's a lot of critique about him. He's only there because of his, the fact that he's related to Eddie. Prove us wrong. Prove us wrong at the end of the day. And then you've got, as well, Ross Wilson. Now, Ross Wilson's come in and he's done some good things. A good start. No doubt about it. But for a club, again, who we're told is spinning multiple plates, working on multiple deals multiple of times, it feels like we're only working on one deal at a time. And if that goes tits up, we've got to go to another plan, which takes time. We haven't got the time. Eddie wanted the players in for now, and these two people will be the ultimate people who decide the future of Eddie Howe. You've got to give him the tools. You can't ask an F1 pit crew to do a job for Lewis Hamilton if they haven't got the equipment and they haven't got the spare tyres and they haven't got the fuel. It doesn't work. Professionalism, lads. It really needs to be. stepped up. It's way better than what it was under Mike Ashley, and we must remember that. People harking on to the Ashley days. It's no, it is a million miles away from that. There's no wheelie bins. There's no retirement bungalow just stood there in the middle of a field. There's no crumble in St James's Park. Yes, decisions aren't getting taken quick enough. Training ground and everything, stadium. Yes, ownership needs to pull the finger out as well. But come on, it's not as bad as under the Ashley days, relegations and, you know, firing tea ladies to save £2.50. It's not like that. It's just so frustrating. But Ross Wilson needs to get a move on, and he needs to give Eddie Howe the tools to do his job, does he not? And then once he's given the tools to do his job, if he doesn't do his job, that's on him. And I honestly think a bad start to this season, and he's gone anyway. If Tuchel goes, he may be gone anyway. If he's not given the tools to do his job, he might just say, look, I'm sick of pissing against the wind here, Flower. I'm gone. And then who are you going to get in, realistically? Somebody said to me on one of the posts that I did, Ancelotti. I said, so he's going to give up Brazil. He's going to come in. He's going to be happy with selling players to buy players. Oh, okay. And he's not going to want to sign Galacticos. Oh, okay. He's happy with all that, is he? Like, it's all right just saying a name for the sake of a name, but you've got to be able to back it up, and you've got to be able to think, is it realistic? Would they come? Would they work within the current setup? Are they happy to work for the ownership of Newcastle United? Because that will put some people off, there's no doubt about it. And for all the other people saying, right, they should sell. Well, no. I don't see the line past my house, you know. Look, I'd love Amanda Staveley and Mehad Qadusi to come back, no doubt about it. Despite what Luke Edwards is having his little Twitter fucking beef today about it all. I think they were fantastic for Newcastle United. They got it, they got the passion, they got the communication right, they got the fact that the fans need to be feel incorporated into the process and whatnot, and they tried the best. I would love them back in some capacity, but there again, I'm happy enough. Look, PIF are putting every penny in that's goes out the door through player sales, etc., back in. All the money of sponsorship. Are they hoarding it for themselves? Are they selling off land like Strawberry Place to suit themselves, like Ashley did? No, they're not. All the money is coming back in. It's not being used correctly enough. We're not making the correct sign-ins. We're not getting the maximum value, bang for buck, out of the money. But they're not doing what Ashley did. Ashley sold off Strawberry Place. The ownership has bought it back. Mike Ashley had, no interest in St James's Park just to put adverts up. They are reversing that. They're putting their own money in. The maximum allowed. The rules are fucking crippling us. But in saying that, that can't be an excuse, because Aston Villa are doing better with the rules than what we are. Brighton are doing better with the rules than what we are. News out over the last week that we are looking to replicate the Dortmund model. I've got no potential issues with that. Because if you come to the circus, it's not to see a specific clown. It's just to go to the circus to be entertained by clowns, or, juggling, or eating fire, or I don't know, whatever. It's the same thing. When I go to see Newcastle United, it doesn't so matter about the player's name on the back. What matters is the badge on the front of the shirt. That's what I go to see. So, if it has to be a Dortmund model and players come and players go, it'll be good players do go and good players do come in. That's what we've got to get to. There's a lot more to come from the players that we had last year. They didn't show anywhere near. You telling me that Alanga, Wissa, even Walter Marder showed their 100% maximum in the black and white shirt last year? Nah. Look at Alanga at the World Cup. You need to be able to replicate that Cocker badge in a black and white shirt consistently. Good performances, cutting in, getting shots away, nutmegging bloody players. You've got to show the same levels back on Tyneside, and a big part of Eddie Howe's job is to get the levels out of these players that didn't come last season. And that's going to be harder without the leadership and the influence of the likes of Kieran Trippier, who've walked out the door for now. So it's a big time. There's a lot of things to sort. Is it Eddie Howe's fault? Yeah, but it's also Ross Wilson's, David Hopkinson's, ownerships. It's the players' fault. There is so many people who have their hands dirty after last season, and it is up to them to get it sorted out. And for me, I want to be able to turn up at St James's Park or to travel watching these lads, to see a game plan, to see a pride in the performance, an effort, an application, a never say die attitude. I want to see them wearing the heart on the sleeve. I want to see some good football. So it doesn't matter to me who's actually playing as much as the performance and seeing everything else and 100% commitment and that sort of thing. And yeah, you know, players are going to come, players are going to go. It's been a bit of a bumpy ride, a bit of a turbulence. But like on the trip over that I'll be making in around about a month's time, if there's a bit of turbulence on the way to the destination, I don't mind that as long as I get there ultimately and get there in good order. And that's what we need. Hopefully the news today with the little Twitter spat in between Meerdad and Spuke Edwards, that suggests that, look, these journalists are just chatting shit. Some of them, they really know absolutely nothing. Hopefully Bruno will be back. The more and more that's said about this potential deal, and still no club-to-club contact. It should be done there and then. There should be no talk between players and other clubs until club-to-club has been sorted. There hasn't been any of that. According to Luke Edwards, £50 million was a handshake agreement that he could leave if we didn't qualify for the Champions League for £50 million. The club have said no, it'll be like 80 up to £100 million. It's going to be in those sort of territories. Arsenal are clearly put off by that price. I don't blame them. It's a lot of money for somebody who turns 29 very, very shortly. But look, for us, he is Mr. Newcastle United. He is the glue that binds the team. We get more points, which is a fact, when he is playing than when he is not playing. He's all the way at times said he wouldn't go on strike. He won't force the move. He would only agree to remove if Newcastle agreed a fee for him, then he would potentially go. They're not going to do that. They shouldn't do that. And Bruno should be in that team that lines up against Liverpool at St James's Park in a little under 6 weeks' time. Beside him, let's hope that we get some more quality injected into there, because I've said all along, last year, too many players in midfield, all very, very similar. We need different profiles of players. We need energy, pace, a little bit of purpose, some drive. Hopefully, Sean Sturr will provide some of that as well. Exciting signing. Him, Miley in the midfield. Could be absolutely a cracking pair of players in there. But hopefully, we still got Bruno. We're still going to have the likes of Joe Linton around, Ramsey around. I think Willock will be sold on. Defence, centrally, I think is there or thereabouts already done. Fullback, we're going to need more work because Livramento is injured yet again. He's still a while off getting back. Miley can play there, but I don't want him to play there week in, week out. I think he's better at playing as a midfielder. I want him to be playing in there. I don't want him to become like a Mr. Sort of like a Mr. Versatile, a Mr. Aaron Hughes type player. I want him to focus on becoming a fantastic central midfielder for the future. So we need fullbacks. Lewis Hall needs some help and some cover. We definitely need help and cover on the right hand side of defence. So arguably at least two fullbacks, if not more. Going into midfield, we're going to need a midfielder, whether that be a revisit to the Manzebe situation, possibly, perhaps. If not, somebody else needs to come in again, as I touched upon before. He's got a different profile about him. Wide left, we've got Toure, we've got as well other options out there, like Harvey Barnes can play there. So I think we're all right on that side. But I think if Jacob Murphy goes, Murphy linked to Everton, I was shocked, I must admit. If he goes, he has to be replaced. Elanga and somebody else, whether that's Jacob Murphy. I think it's right to let Murphy move on. 9 years, a fantastic servant, great lad. Wish him nothing but the best. He's not on great money, £30,000 a week. It's time. It's time. If we keep playing the same players that we've always had, we're going to get the same results. It's the definition of insanity to keep repeating the same thing and expect a different outcome. So I do think if there's an acceptable bid for Murphy, for him and for us, it's the time to move him on. But again, I have our confidence about some of our recruitment team to be able to replace him. Perhaps not at this moment in time, but maybe it's a bad day of the week to ask me after what's just happened with Manzebe. And then up top, I think Asula is going to be leading the line. I think Waldemar is going to be leading the line. I think Wiss is going to be leading the line. And I think in a season where we've got no Europe, unless there is a really, really good young player that comes available all of a sudden, I don't see us making any changes up top, you know. I think Asula will get you 15 goals this season. There you go. There's an early prediction. We're doing a predictions video soon, and there's an early one. I think Asula can get you 15 goals this season. I'm going to stick with that one. You've got to think there's going to be penalties spread about as well, because Gordon's literally only scored a penalties last season, really, didn't he? And those are to spread around now. So Bruno might take a couple. Some of the strikers might fancy taking a few of them as well. So perhaps 15 there, 15 for Voltemata. If you play him as a bloody striker, please, he's not a midfielder. Do not fall into that trap, Eddie. And we said he's looked better. He looked better, hasn't he, at the World Cup? He has looked better. And yes, he missed that Saturday, didn't he, against England? And I was howling back at home. The missus, she was like, why are you laughing? I went, oh, it's Mister, isn't it? Oh yeah, he's the Newcastle. Yeah, Mister at it again. But look, he scored an important goal. He looked more mobile in the World Cup games than he's looked in a long time. In fact, all of his time at Newcastle, he's never looked mobile. He looks like a competition winner when he's playing for us. He really has. So it was nice to see him moving freely, looking healthy, scoring. Scoring goals is nice to see any striker do. I honestly think that's going to be our attacking three next season. Unless a monster bid comes in for Asula, perhaps they could then look to sell him and reinvest. But I doubt it. I think Eddie likes that free, and I think he's got to try and justify Wissa somehow. Because who's going to buy him? Who's going to buy him for the money that we paid to recoup it from? It's not going to happen, is it? So you might as well just admit defeat with that one. Give him an opportunity and hope that he continues his World Cup form on at St James's Park next season. Let me know down below what you think about the strikers. You know, I'm resigned to having the same strikers again. And that's why I'm so keen that we sign midfielders. Like Tonali, how many goals did he get for us last season? Not enough. Bruno had his best in a Newcastle shirt, but still, arguably, you could expect more from him. Harvey Barnes is good for goals and assists, so he will get, no doubt, again, a dozen, maybe more. Alanga needs to step up because I think he's capable of doing so much more. He could he could be high single figures, low double figures next season if he sorts himself out and we see the World Cup version. Yeah, that is literally asterisk or starred or whatever. If. Yeah. So don't quote me on that one. I am getting my predictions ready for the prediction video coming up. But we'll spread the goals around a little bit more, but we do need more goals from midfield. Chow will obviously also chip in with the odd goal. Botman won't. Fullback, if we can get a few goals from fullback from either side, that again is a bonus as well. But it has to be a real team effort. And ultimately, this season has to be about getting back into some form of European competition. And we'll do that, hopefully, by itself. If you think about the fact if we can just change the fucking goalkeeper. Nick Pope is still there. He's reported back to training today. Noticed they didn't put him on any of the pictures I've seen so far. I think he'll go to Ipswich, I do. He's been a good servant, but he's nowhere near the keeper that he was before. We need a new goalkeeper. That would be my number one priority. But so back to transfers. I do a new goalkeeper. And I think a new third choice. I think he'll bring in a senior keeper, to take the Ruddy role over. I know there's Gillespie there, but again, talk about competition winners. A new goalkeeper, 2, if not 3 fullbacks, and depends on the future of Livramento, of course, as well. But say 2 fullbacks, arguably, and a keeper. There's 3, and midfielder that's 4. And then I think you'll probably be after one more wide player, so that will be 5. Which will take it around about the 9 that Keith Downey predicted in his video at the end of last season. He thinks that we'd signed up to 9 new first team-esque in that squad. So I think we're on track to be able to sign that. But it is over to Ross Wilson. It is over for them to do the business. Andy Howe, over to you to justify your pay selection. Your pay packet even. That would be nice, would it not? Jury is still very much out on the bloke. It doesn't help him having Eddie Howe as his relation actually at the club at the moment. Probably helped him getting the job, but isn't helping him at the moment. But let me know down below, who would you sign? How many would you sign? How many's realistic? Is Bruno going to stay? I still think he's more likely to stay than go, because I don't see anybody paying the money for him, to be honest. And I don't think he's a selfish little bitch like Isak was, to be honest. I hope I'm not proved to have egg on my face about that one. I'm going to leave it there because it's getting extremely warm in the Magpie 24/7 South Yorkshire branch down here at the moment. It is a garden room. It was a garden room till I took it all over with everything Newcastle United related on every inch of every single wall. I've got the air conditioning going in the other room, but it doesn't quite stretch. As the helicopters come over now, I'm not even near an airport, you know. Not even near an airport, but you know, this is what it is at the end of the day. But yes, next week Ian will be back in a normal slot, hopefully talking about England winning the World Cup, and hopefully talking about Newcastle United signing some players. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? It would be. Look, we've got some good players in so far. Sean Steer looks a good player. I think can be a very good player for a very long time at Newcastle United. Toure, Baza Toure. I need to know his squad number. He looks a good player as well. Tricky, fast, gets on his left hand side and just whips the crosses in. Looking forward to seeing a little bit of that rather than cutting in and going on your other foot, you know, etc. And our new French keeper, Yuan Joan. I hope that is how you say it. I'll still be mispronouncing it, you know, even when he makes his debut in the cup or something like that. But we need to see more. Good so far. If I was going back to my school days, my teaching days, I'd be like D. Limited some progress, it's just a little limited. So come on, let's get a few quality additions, get the fans back up on side, infused, motivated, looking forward to the new campaign. Get it done, Newcastle United, for fuck's sake, man. All the players out there, I know there's been a World Cup, but others are getting it done and we need to get it done. So let me know down below. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on the video. I told you it's extremely warm in the HQ today. I'm about to go and get something nice and cold and sit in front of the air conditioner for the next 10 minutes. And in the meantime, take care, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.